India has just become the world's fourth largest economy, surpassing Japan and crossing the $4 trillion GDP mark. Fireworks, headlines, and national pride are everywhere, and rightly so. We've officially overtaken Japan to become the fourth largest economy in the world. On paper, this is a moment of celebration. News channels are buzzing, politicians are calling it a Modi guarantee, and social media is full of national pride. We've overtaken the UK, we've beaten Japan. India is now the world's fourth largest economy. But hold on, is this really the arrival of the Indian economic miracle? Not so fast. Because while it's okay to be happy with progress, it's dangerous to confuse a milestone with a finish line. Sometimes milestones are signs of progress, and sometimes they're just tombstones with better lighting. Behind the $4 trillion flex is a silent danger, one that has already crushed the hopes of countries like Brazil, South Africa, Malaysia, and Thailand. It's called the middle income trap, and it's not a conspiracy theory. The World Bank itself has issued a warning. In their words, in countries like India and Brazil, there is optimism that growth will continue. But in reality, very few countries have successfully moved from middle income to high income status. Unless we find new sources of demand, unless we fix deep structural problems, India may grow for a while, and then stall. What does this trap look like? Imagine a country that industrializes rapidly. Exports boom, foreign companies arrive, a middle class emerges, and then growth slows, jobs dry up, innovation stagnates, inequality explodes, and a generation of graduates ends up delivering food or doing telesales. A story we've already seen play out in Malaysia. Let's rewind a bit. In the 1970s, Malaysia was seen as Asia's rising star. Incomes rose from $374 in 1970 to $4,445 by 1995. By 2011, it had crossed $10,000. That's a 2,500% rise in just a few decades. Foreign companies like Intel, Sony, AMD, and Motorola rushed in. Malaysia became the factory of Asia with cheap labor and generous policies. Intel set up its first site outside the US in Penang in 1972 and employed over 8,000 highly skilled Malaysians. For a while, the model worked. Wages rose, the middle class grew. But then, nothing. After 2009, Malaysia's income curve went flat. There was no crash, just stagnation. In 2023, 36% of Malaysian university graduates were underemployed. Engineers were working in customer service. Degree holders were delivering food. People with 4-year degrees were selling insurance over spam calls. The country had built an economy on cheap labor, but never moved up the value chain. Now take a good look at India. We too are growing fast. GDP is rising. Highways are coming up. Startups are booming. But if we look deeper, the picture gets blurry. India became a lower middle income country in 2007. Today, our per capita income stands at around $2,400. That's just $200 a month, lower than many developing nations. And the most dangerous part? India is not one economy. It's 3 countries stacked on top of each other. The top 10% of Indians, about 120 million people, live like Europeans. Their per capita income is $15,000 plus. They invest in US stocks, work remote jobs, fly to Bali, and build startups. The middle 40% live like lower middle class Latin Americans, earning around $3,000 to $5,000 per year. And the bottom 50%? They earn less than $1,200 a year. That's 100 rupees per day. They still stretch 400 rupees across a week. They walk kilometers for clean water. Many don't have access to proper toilets. This is the tragedy. While one India is clapping for unicorns, the other India is still invisible. So, what's the solution? Should we stop growing? Should we stop celebrating milestones? Not at all. But we must learn from countries that got it right. like South Korea. In the 1960s, South Korea was even poorer than Malaysia. It was war-torn, desperate, and completely reliant on foreign aid. Yet today, it is one of the richest nations on Earth, with a per capita income of $33,000. How? Through a generational roadmap. One generation worked in factories, shipyards, and textile mills. The next became engineers. The third became inventors and entrepreneurs. From $280 per capita in 1970, South Korea climbed steadily, not just by manufacturing, but by building value. Koreans didn't stop at exporting electronics. They built global giants: Samsung, LG, Hyundai. Hyundai, once mocked for making clunky cars, now builds luxury EVs and invests in flying taxis. This transformation was no accident. It was driven by long-term vision, massive investment in R&D, and a national obsession with education and innovation. In 2023 alone, South Korea filed over 156,000 patents globally. India, with 25 times the population, filed just 82,000. A nation of 51 million is outperforming a nation of 1.4 billion. Why? Because in South Korea, innovation is a system, not an exception. So, is this video anti-India? Not at all. Real patriotism is not about blind celebration. It's about fixing reality. If we want India to truly become the next economic miracle, we must act now. We need a clear roadmap, not just slogans. We need to fix our education system, increase R&D spending, attract high-value industries, and most importantly, lift all three Indias together. Because a $4 trillion economy with two Indias is not a success story. It's an unfinished story. And if you're a policymaker watching this, please know, we're not the opposition. We're on the same team. We want India to grow. We want to avoid the middle income trap. We want our engineers to innovate, not sell credit cards on calls. So the next time we celebrate a GDP milestone, let it not just be about numbers. Let it be about people. Let it be about progress for every Indian, not just the top 10%. Because the goal is not just to be a big economy. The goal is to be a fair, just, and innovative economy, where opportunity is not just a buzzword, but a reality for all. That's all for today. If you found this valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let's build a smarter India together.